We are live 364 days a year.
What are we doing here?
If Dom turns at SummerSlam, I'm shaving my moustache off. I've told you, if that happens, it's going. My lip is cold because of a stupid bet that I made with YouTube.
Oh, good.
Wrestle's better than Daniel Bryan Daniels. Better than Okada.
How did not get to see after Monday Night Raw?
Welcome to Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast, a show where a rotating cast of wrestling fans from around the world come and share and debate their opinions, with live comments from all of you shown throughout, as after all, fans are what makes wrestling so special. So sit back, grab a beverage, and enjoy the show.
What is going on, everybody? We are back once again with another edition of Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast. It's Saturday, January the 17th. How are we already 17 days into 2026? I don't know. But Friday Night SmackDown is seemingly on fire of late. So we're going to break it down as we do nearly every Saturday. And I have a sweet crew to break it down with me. Let me introduce them to you. First and foremost, out of the gates, I'm going to keep this one on the West Coast. In some circles known as All Elite Mary. But today, I guess it's SmackDown Mary. I'm not totally sure, but how are you?
We bring in the eliteness to the SmackDown. It was a great show. I actually enjoyed every bit of it from the beginning to the end. I was locked in, so I'm excited. Let's get into it.
Absolutely. I'm stoked. We've already got Adrian Padilla in the comments with "We're so back, baby. We're so back. We're so back." Happy Saturday from friend of the show, Bobby Petito. What's good, Bobby? How are you doing? And then, of course, good afternoon, WR crew from friend of the show, Fernando Zayas as well. And SmackDown was fire last night. Yeah, man, we are for sure going to talk about this one. We even got DCX Warlord. Speaking of friends of the show, we've got all the homies here on a Saturday with TV Match of the Year. In my opinion, in AEW have signed two more wrestlers named Jordan Oliver and Alec Price, a.k.a. Busta in the Brain. Yes, that is true, no doubt about it. But we are breaking down SmackDown today, Mr. Warlord. Before we do, though, I do have to send this one to Philadelphia to the head of opinions. How are you on this fine Saturday, Anthony?
I'm doing
Not
well.
Not a lot of Philly sports, though.
No. Unfortunately, spring training's starting soon, and that didn't exactly pan out the Bo sweepstakes. But hopefully things pan out in a better way. Wrestling-wise, SmackDown was fire, as everyone has said. CMLL had a show last night. We have Genesis and AAA tonight. It's a lot of wrestling this weekend, so it's always fun to watch all that stuff. And let's break down some SmackDown.
That is a great shout out too, by the way. And I failed to mention that myself. CMLL had a great show last night. You got Genesis tonight. You had the network debut of TNA this week. It's been a heck of a week for pro wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of great stories, a lot of stuff. A big signing, the Rascals to AEW.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of action in general. We got Davis in the comments here cracking me up with Kit Wilson equals main event WrestleMania 42.
Who booked that, Ben?
DCX Warlord in agreement. Come on, guys. Come on now. That seems a little bit early, but speaking of not early in the show, though, last night, let's talk about Jacob Fatu. You know what I mean? I have said it 1,000 times on this program. Of all the prospects we talk about, of all of the up-and-comers in WWE, strap the rocket ship to Jacob Fatu. He has the ultimate it factor. I go back to the example of my really good friend Nick Opid. We were at the Royal Rumble. As soon as Jacob Fatu's entrance hit, he's just walking to the ring. He looked at me and goes, "Wait, who's this guy?" He's as casual a fan as they come, and he goes, "That's the next big star. He's the next guy." Like, he's just cool as could be. And he's rubbing shoulders now with arguably two of the biggest names, two people who we've discussed in the past, in Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre, being potentially the face of the WWE, both. I mean, Drew McIntyre during the pandemic at WrestleMania 36 was on the Cody Rhodes run before the Cody Rhodes run. If you really think about it, he was finishing a story before the story was finished. And it's an interesting dynamic with the three. I liked the way this all went down. I would love for Fatu to somehow win this title this early. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't necessarily think it's in the cards, but I love his involvement in this rivalry between Cody and McIntyre. And I love that he doesn't care. He's just a vigilante at this point. He's not on anybody's side, right? He doesn't think that Cody's on the moral high ground. He doesn't think that Drew's on the moral high ground. And I don't even think he thinks about the moral high ground at all. He's serving Jacob Fatu at this stage, and I've loved it since the return. But Anthony, I want to get your thoughts first, and then Mary, we will get yours as well. How did you feel about it? Listen, Cody on the chase, I would argue also is better than he is carrying the title, man. He looked as good as he has all year last night. Now it's early.
As a babyface, I agree with you, Clark. I think him as Cody as a heel, the Homelander run, if done right, I think would greatly surpass the babyface runs, other than him winning the title at 40. I think Hangman Page and AEW has the same problem. The babyface runs didn't work, but the chases worked. The wild part is Jacob Fatu is such a presence. He has an aura about him. And, it's very much reminiscent to me of Brock Lesnar. When Brock originally came in, it's this beast. It's credibility and believability. And that's what really is the appeal of Jacob Fatu, because in the world of professional wrestling where everything is predetermined, you look at Jacob Fatu just like Haku, that if he's in a bar fight, money's on Haku. In the same way with Jacob Fatu, like he is somebody that legitimately you believe can beat pretty much anybody in a room. And that's what the appeal of Jacob Fatu is. And I think the fun part is when you look at Drew, when you look at Cody, and you look up Jacob Fatu, they all have this same singular thread through them in the fact that they all had to crawl and scratch and get to the position to prove themselves. In Drew's case, he was supposed to be the chosen one. It didn't pan out. And he had to go back to the indies and really redevelop himself. Cody thought he was the chosen one. The company didn't feel that way. He went to prove himself. Jacob Fatu was kind of in indie purgatory because of stuff that went on in his personal life. He had to prove that he deserved to be the spot, despite the fact that his lineage should pretty much be a golden ticket and an easy pass into WWE because of the legacy and the legitimacy. When you add these three people, I look forward to, because I'm thinking if Sammy doesn't win the title at the Rumble, then I'm thinking it's going to be a three-way with these three at Mania. And I'm completely fine with Jacob Fatu coming out on top at Mania or Cody going Homelander. I'm okay with any of the three winning, but because there's so many potential out of this. But Cody would have to win and become Homelander. Not another babyface run.
Yeah.
That's the only way that works. If he gets people together, Ethan Page, Ricky Saints, Powerhouse Hobbs, possibly people that are connected to Cody to make his own kingdom to run roughshod for SmackDown as a heel, and Jacob chasing that and the numbers game, that works.
Well, and to your point, Jacob Fatu has a really unique level of charisma. It's almost like Marshawn Lynch. Like he doesn't necessarily do what they're both from the Bay Area too. So similar vernacular, right? You're going to get Hella, you're going to get Yada the Main, you're going to get some of the good stuff, right? East Bay slang is fun, right? Everybody steals our stuff, right? That's what that's the famous line.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Everybody steals our words. I think that's Keek the Sneak. Shout out, by the way, for any hardcore Bay Area hip hop fans out there. That's an obscure reference on today's daily. Didn't have that on my bingo card today, but shout out Keek the Sneak. Great MC at the end of the day. But here's another thing when it comes to this, because I agree with you. The for Fatu to go over in that situation, Cody's got to turn heel, because I think the reality is Jacob Fatu can be as dangerous as anybody in the division. He has a weird, and that's where I go back to the Marshawn Lynch thing. he's a weird likability about him that's hard to sort of put your finger on. Like you do want to root for him, and you mentioned his backstory, and it should have been a shoe-in, but wasn't.
Yes,
and then you notice Michael Cole and multiple of the commentators will call him the most unhinged family member of the bloodline. I almost think that's a dated reference at this point now, where it's like, I think, because yes, he is unhinged in a lot of ways. No, it's not that I don't hear it, but it doesn't describe him as a whole. He's got something I can't like it factor, not to just lob.
No, it is. It's
out there, but
factor,
he really does.
Aura, it's all that
and
stuff.
Then, let me read through a couple comments really quick. We got Donnie DeSilva with, I got SmackDown on my flight home yesterday. Absolute fire. First and foremost, by the way, is there a better feeling in the world than getting on a plane flight and being like, how am I going to kill this time? And then going, live wrestling?
That's 3 hours.
Live wrestling? Like, oh, wait a minute. That is one of the best feelings in all of air travel. We've also got 8:07 p.m. in Lisbon, Portugal. Absolutely monster shout out to Steve-O Wrestler. And then Bobby Petito's looking forward to Jacob Fatu versus Cody Rhodes. Most dangerous member of the bloodline originally was Umaga. I love Umaga, and obviously we know Zilla Fatu.
With all due respect, and as much as I like Umaga, the most dangerous one was always Haku.
Haku's always been the most dangerous one. That's so true. Mary, though, I want to ask you about all this. When it comes to Fatu's involvement, obviously also, it does seem like the conversation has sort of shifted. We focused a lot on Cody and Fatu in the first half of this convo, in the first half of this topic. But Drew McIntyre is carrying the WWE title. Let's not forget that. And we saw him singing in Scotland and everything, and that was great. What are your thoughts when it comes to the three of these guys rubbing shoulders last night?
I'll just start right off the bat. What an entrance for McIntyre. He finally got that welcome home with the belt that he's been waiting for since his feud with the Bloodline, since his feud with Punk, as he mentioned in his opening promo. But overall, just the aura of him finally being champion in front of a good crowd last night, I was so elated for him. We just really didn't even know whether we wanted to boo or cheer him until he started to speak. And when he said, "You guys suck," I was like, you know what, Drew? We do suck. We didn't believe in you before. We do not deserve you. And it hooked me in. I'm ready for him to kind of elevate the championship again. And as well as Cody being the chaser, by the way, if y'all want to watch Ben's take on SmackDown, he took the words all of our mouths that Cody is a much better chaser than a champion. And I know that's a hot take, but to have someone chase the gold is so much more fun to watch sometimes when they're actually carrying the gold itself. But for Fatu being in the mix, I feel like it's so much more non-predictable, menacing acts. I feel like Fatu is just a menace, but it's a good menace, the menace that we need to just kind of terrorize the rest of the locker room. I mean, when Kit Wilson came out and was doing his thing, by the way, how over is Mr. Wilson? Wow. But when he was going in to finally see Mr. Fatu pop out of the back, and again, just the scare factor, the unpredictability of him, it's going to be so great having him in the main event feud.
No doubt. And I think it's funny because I've thought about this a lot. I do think if you were going to do anything to sort of keep Jacob Fatu around the main event scene, but not necessarily put him all the way over to the level of winning the title, the only logical next step is to pair him with Roman Reigns. The two from the bloodline that have been scorned by the NFT or the MFTs.
Yeah.
Right? Not the non-fungible tokens, not the NFTs, the MFTs. But
by the way,
can
I ask one question since you brought them up?
Yes.
Is Solo's gimmick just stealing other people's stuff? Because first it was the Ula Fala, now it's the lantern. Is that his only gimmick, to steal other people's stuff?
I don't actually hate
over
it. If that is, that's kind of funny. if he just starts like imagine if he starts imagine if he takes Cardona's headband.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot there. I actually don't, and the answer is I don't know. I don't necessarily think that's the case.
I
but
want to know if that was intentional or just a coincidence.
I don't necessarily hate it if slowly but surely it unfolds in that way.
The one thing I do
Solo is true tribal thief.
Yes.
Still the more sneakers.
He's got
the one thing I do have to say, what Mary said, and it's true. The reason why promotions typically have the heel as champion is because it's much more fun to watch a babyface chase it than a heel chasing a babyface champion.
Totally
traditionally.
That's where I was going to read just a part. Monster shout out, friend of the show. Cody being a better chaser isn't really a hot take. It's facts. As a champion, it has been underwhelming. Same with Seth. Seth is a better chaser. Rhea is a better chaser. I'm with you on that. Hi, I'm late. Dude, don't worry. You're never late. Always on time. Solo is a kleptomaniac from Fernando.
Yeah,
that tickled me. That's hilarious. And then how about this one? Imagine if he takes Axiom's mask.
What is that? That's how he becomes A-Kid?
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 That's what he was in NXT UK. Heck of a wrestler, though. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. Guy's a stud.
Such a horrible name, too, A-Kid.
All right, let's move on to our next topic of this afternoon, evening, morning. Depends on where you are geographically. Shout out Portugal. No doubt about it. Leon Slater makes his SmackDown debut in Europe. I thought this was very, very, very cool. Carmelo Hayes. He answers the open challenge. Melo is keeping the open challenge part of the United States title alive. And at first I wasn't sure. I totally dig it now. This was worth it. This was awesome. And I want to get your thoughts first, and then Mary, I'll ask you about it as well. But just really cool. I think the United States title is on the upswing. And I didn't really feel that way because it has been hot potato to touch. I thought Sami Zayn would have been the one to continue to have the open challenges, but not so much. It doesn't really matter who's at the helm. Ilya Dragunov was successful with it. And so far, I think Carmelo has been too.
I think what I love about the open challenge thing is, number one, it's technically a silent tribute to Cena, even though he's gone. And the other thing is, as long as they keep it for babyface champions, it makes sense. Because, we're keeping tradition, a fighting champion. It's unique and it's different because no other title has it. So it's special. It wouldn't make sense for a heel champion to do it, because a heel champion will do anything to keep their title. They're not going to just defend it against mystery opponents every week. It doesn't make sense. This was really special because apparently there were visa issues that prevented a number of talents arriving for Impact's debut on AMC. One of those talents was supposedly Leon Slater, the reigning X Division champion, the youngest X Division champion of all time. Not only was it Leon's first appearance on SmackDown, it was a special moment because it's the first time ever a X Division champion has taken on a defending champion in WWE, not in NXT, the US champion. So it was really special. Leon is a once in a generation type talent. He is truly special. He'll eventually be in WWE. I think it's a matter of time. But these two lit it up. Carmelo has struggled since he lost the NXT championship, in my opinion. I think he lost part of himself when he lost it. Now with the US title, it works for him. And it was well done because Carmelo won, as he should, because obviously they're not going to, they weren't going to do it. They weren't going to switch the title. It would have been kind of fun if they would have, because it would have shocked the world if they would have done it. And it would have added more prestige to Leon being the first person not with WWE prior experience like the Hardys to win a WWE gold while under while under TNA contract. But it was done in a way that protected Leon. Like he felt he was done right by that. He was held up strong, even in defeat with Carmelo. So I absolutely loved it. And it left you wanting more because they're eventually probably going to go at it again sometime down the future. So it was very well done, I thought.
I thought so as well. And visa issues aside, I don't even think that's like a big thing.
He made the best of it. If that was,
I also think it's fascinating to me too. I'm like, visa issues is like such a vague, like I don't understand. Like, file your paperwork, right? Like, if you're under contract, you're under contract, and like it I don't know. Blaming the other like entities for visa issues is interesting to me, and like I don't know. That's not like right. That's like my dog ate my homework. At some point, I do feel like in some
Oh,
way.
absolutely. Listen, I'm
No
just saying,
doubt.
like, if that was the legitimate reason and you got to use them on SmackDown as opposed to the Impact, okay, you made the best of a bad situation. Now, if it was WWE was like, hey, listen, could we get him for this show? Different story, whatever. But I don't know what the reason was. But either way, it was well done.
Don't get me wrong. I think the guy's an absolute stud, and I think he put on a heck of a match. Mary, I want to get your thoughts though on Leon's debut on SmackDown.
Phenomenal debuts. It'll probably be a match that we can all like watch again down the road and just be like, wow, what a guy. Him and Carmelo, I could watch them fight. I could have watched them fight all night. If that was the main event, okay. If that was the opener, middle, whatever, please take my 3 hours and run with it. Carmelo is doing a fantastic job as the US champion right now. He did lose his momentum coming in from NXT, losing the main belt there to the main roster. He didn't have such a great jump as most usually do. But when he got a hold of that US belt, it's like he said, let me cook. And boy, oh boy, it was just spot after spot after spot. It was just, wow. I could watch those two fight all day. And with Leon Slater being under TNA contract still, he's coming, you guys. He's coming to WWE. And I know that down the road. And I can't wait. I cannot wait.
Absolutely, I'm with you. I think his time is so soon here with the WWE, and like it's interesting because we've had these crazy NXT call-ups this week. Not crazy, like logical, but just big names. Trick Williams, who we saw last night, right? Obafemi, soon to debut. Jordan Grace, who we're going to discuss in the next segment, right? Like all of these people. Leon Slater is so logical as well. Yeah, we watched this match. He fits the main roster like a glove. Javon Evans, who I haven't even mentioned yet. Oh yeah, they made a heck of a tag team, didn't they? And I see, I see the future just being absolutely as bright as could be when it comes to this. No doubt about it. Mary returns from Shad. Yes, Mary is so back. Mello is showing star power, and I love it. Yes, Shoddy, I'm with you. Leon needs to go to the big leagues. TNA don't do him no justice. He's too big of a star for that company. Shoddy, woo! Get your twos up for the Tuesday Night Delight. He just dropped another absolute banger when it comes to that one, because I couldn't agree more. Now let's talk about Jordan Grace, though, because she defeats Chelsea Green, which, I mean, who doesn't love? Who doesn't love? Who doesn't love a little Chelsea Green in their lives? And then at the end of the day, it's really about Jordan Grace and Jade Cargill. That's what it's all about. The stare down, put it on a poster. This looks like a boxing fight, these two. This is Tyson Lennox Lewis type stuff. I love a good stare down. Is it just me? Am I the only one here in pro wrestling that thinks a good stare down is just undervalued? We don't get them all the time, right? Just that eye contact, and you just see like the instinct kick in, like
the best stare down of all time was Undertaker Triple H. They said nothing and just looked at the Mania sign. That may be one of the greatest one of all time.
It's so good. It's so good. And it's not like this was match of the year or anything like that, but the post match, that stare down, that the amount of times that they've done this, I can't believe Jordan let her walk around her last week. This week, not so much. She flashed the glare first. And that I really enjoyed. It was a nice, just storytelling piece that I thought they sort of snuck in there in a classy way, for lack of a better way to put it. Mary, I want to get your thoughts, though, because to me, this could be the most fun rivalry in the women's division in quite some time. And who had on their bingo card an NXT call-up in Jordan Grace toe-to-toe with Jade Cargill, not necessarily a four horsewoman, not necessarily Tiffany Stratton, not necessarily even one of the more recent NXT call-ups from last year, like Vaquer and Julia, but Jade Cargill and Jordan Grace feeling like arguably one of the top 2 or 3 women's rivalries in WWE right now.
I 100% agree. I am so happy that they're putting the rocket on Jordan Grace. From the moment I saw her in TNA, I said, this girl's going to be a superstar. She's going to be a superstar. Wherever she goes, she's going to brute with the brutes. And there couldn't be a better brute than Miss Cargill herself. And then the character that she's in right now, wow. It's like Clark said, put it on a poster board, put it for Vegas, put it for tomorrow. I don't care. I mean, for Jordan Grace, as big of a superstar as she was when she was down in the little leagues, I can't believe they kind of to finally pull the trigger on her. And we kind of all thought that Charlotte was going to be the one to eyeball the champion, but I'm glad that they're pulling the trigger on Jordan Grace. I feel like it's going to be something really new, really fresh, really just raw, and it could go all the way to Mania if they want to. But I will say it though, I think we did kind of possibly expect someone to challenge Julia for her belt, which by the way, I think needs to either be scrapped, disappear, or reworked. I still say that till this day. The title can make a person, but the person gotta make the title. And I feel like Julia, she's getting so misused for what she really is as a true champion, as a true superstar. But to go back to Jordan Grace and Jade Cargill, give that night one in Vegas. I'm in.
Yeah, I like it too. I think you can stretch it all the way. I honestly, and this is kind of interesting because we have the Rumble coming up. And I feel like it's kind of been like maybe the least advertised Rumble yet.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, do you do Jade and Jordan 1 at the Rumble with a fluky finish?
Yes.
Is that how you get there? Because I don't know if Jade or Jordan, that's the weirdest part though, is Jade's not going to be in the Rumble with the title, right? As far as we know. Like, I haven't seen that in years.
Mm-hmm.
But Jordan is a logical Rumble entrant. Or maybe Jade messes Jordan around somehow in the Rumble.
Keeps bullying her.
And then the other title is given the finish conveniently, the one that's challenged for, so that opens the door. I'm not exactly sure how you get there, but I agree with you. I think it should last till Vegas. I think, Ant, you're kind of on the same page, aren't you?
Yes. I think you could do Jade and Jordan possibly at Saturday night's main event. That gets your blow off with it. I'm not opposed to the fact, because Clark, you remember as well as I do, and Mary probably does too. People used to work double duty and work and match and be in the Rumble, but they don't do that now.
Right.
So if you wanted to do it, because Jordan's the type of talent that can go in at 1 and go the distance. Like, she's the type that is believable to do that. The juggernaut going.
You could have her enter in like the 18 to 25 range after losing to Jade. Isn't the worst idea. I'm sorry. Now you have my wheels spinning.
You could do that if she's doing double duty. If she's not, if they do it at Saturday night's main event, or they do it prior to that, then I'd have her go 1 to 30. I'd have her do it, because I think she's believable. Because Jordan against Jade is the money match. To me, that's the best match you could possibly present for the women's championship in WWE, in my opinion, because they both have this presence about them, and they both have gone such a long way, especially in Jade's case, because she did not have much experience coming in from AEW. People forget that. Yes, she had the TBS title for a long time. She was green when she came in. Jordan reinvented herself in TNA. She became probably the most important women's wrestler in TNA history, other than maybe Awesome Kong might be the only other one, and maybe Gail Kim. You can maybe make the argument, but realistically, that's what it is. That's the marquee match that you want there. One small thing, I did love that Chelsea freaked out when she only got a 1 count because
I love that.
before.
It cracks me up
Yeah.
every time. Okay, we've also got a bunch of comments. Donnie De Silva with Jade Cargill coming up as a huge guest on Huge Pop. Sorry, I misread that, Donnie. But yes, absolutely do check that out. That is going to be excellent. Of course, Donnie, one of the best interviewers in the game. No doubt about that. And then we've got Bobby Petito with I like the stare down between Jordan Grace and Jade Cargill. Yeah, man, no question. Grace versus Jade is a clash of the Titans. Yes. Now this one's interesting right here from Shoddy. He said, I wouldn't want Grace for Mania personally. I don't think she's ready for that yet, but I would like Jade and Bianca if Bianca's healthy. Yeah. That is Jade Bianca is
that is the one.
I want the Jordan
think,
one more, to be honest.
Well, I think if they play the Jordan rivalry right, that makes the Jade Bianca match bigger, and there's just barely enough time that you can pull it off. There's something about because Jordan is sort of Jordan and Jade to me feels a little like John Jones, Daniel Cormier.
Mm-hmm.
If you're an MMA fan, right? To me, the difference is with Bianca, the athleticism. It's because unstoppable force, immovable object. It's different with Bianca because the agility level, the level of athlete she is. You have arguably the two best athletes that have ever entered women's wrestling between her and Jade on the same card against each other. That to me is pretty special. I think that's something that we need to make a huge, huge deal of when it happens, because we don't get athletes of the caliber of both Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair in professional wrestling often on either side of the men's and women's division. You do not get to see that often. Yeah, Bianca's the LeBron James of women's wrestling. I'm with you there. But although I might call Jade Cargill similar. It's hard. They both are just unbelievable athletes. But let's talk about the four-way match that's set. We've got the number one contenders match. Pretty big here. Okay. So number one, we've got Damian Priest defeating. Well, I'm going to read them out of order. I'm sorry, because in my notes they're out of order, but that's neither here nor there. So don't try to fact check me on that in the comments, my friends. I just wanted to get that out of the way before I do this. But Damian Priest defeats Solo Sikoa. Randy Orton defeats The Miz. Trick Williams defeats Zack Ryder, and Sami Zayn defeats Ilya Dragunov. Four-way is set. It's Priest, Orton, Trick, and Sami. And before I ask both of you about this, I do have to get this off of my chest. I only picked Solo in my predictions, which is the only one I got wrong because everyone else picked Priest. And so Lawrence and Ben both got it right yesterday. But the reality is, if we all three picked the same, which was my initial plan, was to make those picks, we all three would have had it right. So in the record books, you can take it away from me, but just know I did the right thing for the team yesterday. I did the right thing. There's no doubt about it. I did it for the sake of entertainment, but I'm excited about the four-way, and it's got to be Sami now. It's got to be Sami.
It was
now.
always
Come
Sami.
on. It's got to be Sami now. It's Sami, isn't it? Mary, I'm starting with you. Ladies first, no doubt. Mary, is it Sami or is it not Sami? Who else could it be if it wasn't Sami?
It's Sami. It's Sami, you guys. It's literally boop, right there on the poster. There you go. It couldn't get much more obvious than that. I just hope the match itself is good, coming to finally understanding that it's going to be Sami and Drew at the Rumble and Saudi Rumble. That's just it. It was the writing on the wall. I'm glad the other stars there are getting the shine light that they deserve for the championship match, which I would hope maybe come later down the year that they'll actually be a part of the main event scene. But I'm sorry, it's just right there. Sami and Drew. There you go. There you go.
It's in our laps. It's fallen in our laps. It seems so logical. Yeah, I could not be more with you. I like the emote as well. We should charge for that to get the emotes somehow. We got to figure out how to monetize
Mary
emotes.
emotes.
Like video games. Yeah, exactly. We got to
Mary
figure that
emotes.
out someday. Someday we'll work
Someday.
that out, no doubt. But I'm with you. Like at the end of the day, it's interesting because I had a long discussion about this earlier in the week when it comes to Sammy. And my initial thought was win the Rumble in Saudi, right? Because obviously he's not from Saudi Arabia. He's Syrian descent, but he is
the
the most
heritage.
over star. He's the most over star in that country that they have on the roster in WWE.
Now
It's
that
not
Mansoor is
close.
gone.
I would have argued even before he was more over.
Yes, he was. He wasn't allowed
almost undoubtedly.
Yes.
Now, the more I've thought about it, I think this needs to be a slightly different version, but this needs to be Sami Zayn's Cody Rhodes WrestleMania 39 moment. Oh, so close. Oh, so close. He almost has him at Mania, or at Rumble. He almost has him. It's right there. And it just doesn't work out. That's my thought. And you and I attended WrestleMania 39 together.
We did.
Now, what I don't want it to be is the same formula where he gets his comeuppance maybe in Saudi Arabia at Mania 43. Against the same opponent. I don't want it to be the same formula. But if he went Rumble loss and then fights his way back to the top to get there at Mania 43, do you have good feelings about that? What are your thoughts on sort of that idea? Because I know, when it comes to the Cody Rhodes story, you were on top of that the entire time, no doubt.
Yeah.
You attended everything that
I got lucky.
That mattered.
Yes. No, the Sammy thing is interesting because you have the money factor in the Saudi situation, in the fact that they're paying a large amount of money. They're going to want the match they want at the end of the day. So Sammy winning the Rumble was something that I thought was going to happen. I kept saying, oh, that's probably what's going to happen. I still think it may be Roman this year. I think Sammy's going to fight for the title at the Rumble. He's going to come up short. And then next year, it's going to be a big push with him going, I'm going to win the Rumble. I got a main event, WrestleMania 43 in Saudi. I got to finally win a world title because he deserves a world title. I think he's going to come up short at the Rumble. I think his last chance is the Chamber, and he's going to win the Chamber, and then he's going to fight for the title. That separates him at that point who he's going to face. The ideal situation would be him taking on maybe heel Cody Rhodes. He's got to be taking, or Drew. It's got to be one of those two, I would think. That's who he's got to face. That would be the logical one. I mean, in a dream scenario, it's Kevin Owens because of their history. That would be the ideal one. But you kind of, I think when he does do it, it's going to be in a lot of ways, even though he's the black sheep. But the moment of WrestleMania 20, having Eddie Guerrero and Benoit along roads, finally hugging, finally winning a world title or whatever, I think you're going to have that with Sami and KO regardless. I think you're going to have that moment, and it's going to be in Saudi. Because the only two places to get the best reaction for Sami winning the world title is either in Saudi or in Canada. And he's come up short in Canada already.
And Sean makes a really good point here, though. He says Saudi fans watch WWE like us. They cheer for all the same stars like us. Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more, Shoddy. The one thing I will say, though, is when Sammy cuts a promo in Arabic, it's a different level, right? That's where I would give Sammy
the hometown.
It's not literally his hometown, though.
Yeah,
right?
but it's similar.
But
Sacred ground.
He's definitely. It's a little bit like Punk used to be in Chicago. It happens in different places, right? I mean, Kenny Omega in Japan's like that at this point.
Yes.
Let's be honest with ourselves.
Yes.
And there's many that are, it's almost like an adopted sort of The hometown's a bad phrase because it's such a cliche. Like it's kind of a trope at this stage.
But it's similar.
It's sort of like an adopted, adopted
adopt-
like a camaraderie amongst the fans that I would say is important to note. Just because, no, I know it's not, Shad. Thank you for the that's what I just said. Shoddy, I literally just said that. The that it's not. He's of Syrian descent and
it's sacred.
But when he speaks Arabic in Saudi Arabia, the crowd reacts in a way that you don't see necessarily
like he's
with other
one
wrestlers.
Of their own. That's
when he's in the building, and he's had a lot of success there. I think it would be very interesting. No, Shad, that's not what nobody said. Shad. Okay, either way, let's talk about, though, of the four, I think we're all in agreement. All three have picked Sammy.
Yeah.
I think he loses that Rumble. Is it possible also we talked about working double duty, that he works double duty?
I think if there's anyone that could do it, it could be him.
I don't think so, only because if he doesn't win the Rumble, the fans are going to be disappointed twice that he lost. So the only way it happens is he wins the thing, but I don't think he's going to at this point.
Yeah, that's fair. What about you, Mary?
I think like how we were saying Jordan Grace being the one to kind of, if she doesn't pull it off in the match, she can win the Rumble.
Yeah.
I think Sammy could do the same thing.
He could.
If he actually wins,
cool.
Though. That's the thing. If he actually wins the whole thing.
I just think WWE title isn't in the cards for Sammy at Mania. You know what I mean?
In 42, 43.
That's where I'm
probably.
at. That's where I'm at for sure. Either way, that's going to bring us to the end of the show. Thank you so much, everybody that tuned in. We really appreciate you. We'll be back same time, same place tomorrow. Of course, that's noon Pacific, 3 o'clock on the East Coast, 8 o'clock in the UK, and 9 a.m. for my good friends in Hawaii. Thank you so much. On behalf of me, Anthony, Mary, everybody at WR, have a great Saturday. Have a great rest of your weekend. Enjoy Genesis. Enjoy all the good shows, and we will talk to you soon. Whatever.